strong male and a graceful female, roamed freely in the golden wilds of South Africa. Together they hunted under the scorching sun, crossed endless pastures, and lived in harmony with the rhythm of the land. But nature began to change. The seasons grew harsher, the rivers became dusty scars, and the herds they had once relied on were far out of reach. With heavy hearts and waning strength, the lions made a silent decision. They would leave their ancestral territory in search of a new beginning. Their journey stretched for hundreds of kilometers, a treacherous odyssey across dry plains and predator-marked trails. Hunger gnawed at their ribs, and the nights brought not only cold but danger. But every dusk the male stood guard, and the female rested, breathing slowly and tiring under the stars. A week or two later, they caught the scent of water and distant prey. They followed him like a lifeline, and he led them to Mahado National Park, one of South Africa's largest wildlife reserves, known for its vast grasslands, meandering rivers, and protected ecosystems. The lions approached cautiously. Patrol cars, fences, and strange human structures puzzled them, but they felt no immediate threat. They sniffed the air, found a shady hollow by the creek, and settled there for the time being. Meanwhile, two park employees, Sifo and Jack, noticed unfamiliar paw prints near the central watering hole. Sifo, an experienced patrol ranger, immediately recognized them as lion tracks. Jack, a diligent wildlife watcher, began to record every print, every sign, every movement. They decided to observe the lions from afar. On the following nights, the male's deep roar echoed across the plain, announcing his presence. The female remained restless, still adjusting to the new terrain. But despite their fatigue, they managed to catch small prey, hares, impalas, and once even a young wild pig. Jack began to suspect something. The lioness was moving more and more slowly, with increasing indecision. Sifo agreed. The male was more secure than usual, and the female's belly seemed fuller with each passing week. Maybe she's pregnant, Jack whispered one morning, watching through binoculars from the ridge. As the months passed, the signs became undeniable. The lioness, already noticeably heavier, began to withdraw from her hunting routine, resting more often. Sifo packed the patrol car with emergency supplies. Jack adjusted his observation logs, focusing on the health and behavior of the lioness. Everyone in the sanctuary held their breath, hoping for a safe delivery. But when the time came, the situation took a terrible turn. The lioness went into labor and suffered for almost 2 days. She moaned incessantly and tossed restlessly in the grass. The male paced back and forth like a sentry overcome by helplessness. Jack, watching from a distance, bit his lip. "We gotta do something," he said at last. Using anesthesia was too risky. Any tranquilizer could endanger both mother and cub. But inaction would almost certainly mean the death of the lioness. Sifo and Jack made a bold decision. They would go on foot, with a minimum of equipment and caution. Sifo slowly drove the vehicle out onto the open plain. The male lion spotted them instantly. His body tensed, his mane surged, and he let out a thunderous growl. But he did not attack. He pondered, protect or trust. Jack came out with the first aid kit. He spoke softly, like the wind in the tall grass. The lioness raised her eyes. They were tired, filled with pain, but no longer wild with fear. With trembling hands, Jack crouched beside her. She gently touched the lioness and gave her an injection, a fertility stimulant and a mild anesthetic. The male lion roared and stepped forward, but only watched. Then came the waiting. 2 hours later, as dusk flooded the plains with gold, a tiny wet cub was born. The female lay panting, her body trembling, but her eyes shining. The male lion bent down and licked his newborn. A proud rumble escaped his throat. Sifo exhaled, barely realizing that his hands had been clenched the whole time. Jack checked on the cub. It was breathing, moving, crying, a small but fierce spark of life. He administered a second injection, a mild tonic to help the mother recover, and they stepped back, allowing the family their freedom. That night, under a purple sky, the cub cuddled up to its mother, safe and warm. Sifo and Jack watched from their car, with tears in their eyes. They gave the lion cubs names. The male, Coda, a symbol of strength. The female, Leia, which means hope. And the cub was named Mosi, which means new beginning in the local dialect. In the days that followed, the family began to settle in. Coda no longer growled when a patrol car drove by. Leia recovered quickly. Mosi grew stronger, waddled on tiny legs, chased grasshoppers, and curled up next to his mother in the shade. The park staff considered this birth a milestone, not only in conservation, but also in the trust between man and beast. As the weeks turned to months, Mosi learned to stalk, pounce, and growl. He mimicked Coda's behaviors and cuddled Leia with youthful tenderness. The lion family was thriving, not just surviving, but living life to the fullest. Every time Sifo and Jack passed by, the lions raised their heads, not in alarm, but in recognition. One morning, as dawn glimmered over the plains, Namsa spotted them on a distant ridge. Coda standing at full height, Leia beside him, and Mosi tumbling playfully in the grass. The picture was perfect, peaceful, whole. It reminded them why they were doing what they were doing. The story of Coda, Leia, and Mosi soon spread throughout the park. Visitors, rangers, and volunteers found inspiration in their journey. It became a story told around campfires, shared with children, and imprinted on the hearts of all who heard it. And so, as the sun set over Mahado each day and the wind carried the scent of wild grass, the three lions stood together, symbols of resilience, hope, and the quiet connection between nature and humanity. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon to never miss new wildlife highlights. Thanks for watching and for supporting wildlife protection, one story at a time.